So how far back do we go? Because I have my memory of it, but I'd love to hear yours.
I mean, if I moved here in '91, and I think we met the year before that, because our friend Mary introduced us and said, my friend Chris is moving to America. And I'm like, well, I think I'm going to America for a little bit. And so we met in 1990. That's what
I remember going to your house in Acton for dinner.
Yeah, that was a year before, I think.
What was that about?
Because Mary introduced us and said...
But Mary wasn't there.
No, she didn't come. She just said, you need to know Lauren because she's going to go to America. That's how we met.
So I went over to your house for dinner.
Yeah, we came over with Graham and I for dinner. Yeah, and we just like chatted. And
I remember it
and
very
then
well.
you went to America 6 months before me.
Yeah.
And then when I first got there, I was like, Chris, I'm here. Yeah, we were both just trying to make it in LA. It was crazy.
And how old were you guys?
I was 23.
I was 31.
Yes, yeah. And at one point, I thought my career was completely over and I would have to go back to
At what point was that?
I was in like 1990.
Okay, so this was before the big success, right?
Before I had any success. It was like 1998. And you were like really going into other areas of like computers and the internet and like all sorts of things. And I even remember saying to you, Chris, I think I'm going to have to come and work for you as your secretary and give up music, you know. And then I applied to become a paramedic, and my mum was like, no, keep doing music.
Yeah.
And good things happen, you know.
And then I probably said, can you lend me $60 so I can make my rent?
I don't think they ever asked me for money. Like, but it was always touch and go for both of us.
Oh,
It was
yeah,
like,
for a long time.
Really having a really hard time trying to make it hit. Then when I started The Matrix, it was like, for me, 99, 2000, 2001, no huge success. Like 3 years of just working really hard, and then suddenly, God bless her, Avril Lavigne
Yeah.
changed my life.
I remember when the first Avril Lavigne record came out, the very first single, Complicated,
Yeah.
and you had no idea it was going to do quite as well as it did. And suddenly it went to number 2 on the chart.
No, number one.
No. It went to number 2, and I said to you, I bet you next week it goes to number 1.
Do you know, I think I remember that.
And you said to me, if it goes to number 1, I'll buy you dinner.
That's a big thing.
And I'm still waiting for the dinner.
That is not true. That is not true. That is mean, Miss Standring.
No, the point is, we were still broke. There was no dinner. I mean, the money.
There was dinner at our house. More barbecue chicken.
Yes, but there was no royalties coming in yet. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it took 2 years. But it went to maybe like the pipeline income's about 2 years.
Yeah, I mean, it was. And then it sure came in, didn't it? Yeah, and then it all changed, didn't it? My God.
Yeah, thank God for Avril. And
So
it
when
was sort of
that
run.
single, the first single, hit the charts and it was successful, how did you feel? Like, what was that moment like for her and for you and the team?
For all of us, we were just so relieved that we'd actually had some success, because you can go for so long saying, yeah, I really believe in myself,
That's
I really
it.
believe in myself.
At some point, you got to come through.
Yeah, and my friend Charlie Midnight said to me, you know, sooner or later, like, it's all been smoke and mirrors up to now, but sooner or later you just have to have a big hit.
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah.
shit, how are we going to have a big hit, you know? And then the stars aligned. God
Well,
said,
and let's talk
"This
about
one."
what a big hit that was. How many records did that sell?
I mean, it's 25 million, the album. But what was so crazy is that things don't often go right in the music business. But L.A. Reid and Josh Sarabin, who are the two heads of the label, you know, L.A. Reid was the head of the label. They heard Complicated, I'm With You, and Skater Boy. And they just said, okay, those are the 3 singles, and it starts with Complicated, then Skater Boy, and I'm With You. And so we were number 1 for a year and a half on the chart.
Like,
For a
consistently?
year and a half. We never stopped being number 1.
Amazing.
It just was like, wow, when your ship comes in, it really comes
Yeah.
in, you know?
Wow.
And we were just so grateful.
Great, thank you.
How did you get in a room with Avril? Like, how did that happen? And why Laura and Christy?
So my company, The Matrix, with my ex-husband Graham and Scott Spot, we had been like our manager Sandy Robertson. Do you have Sandy Robertson? He basically said, "You guys are amazing. Just trust me." And he just kept sending us artists to work with, and we'd write songs. Everyone think they were hits, and then say like all the people at the label would get fired, and then the album would never come out. So we had all these times where it's just like kept hitting the crossbar, as they say in football. Just nothing ever came to fruition. And then Avril was just the first one that just got through, like the sperm getting to the egg. You know, it just, everything aligned. The right time, right label, right artist, right voice, right look.
Yeah.
Britney was out there like with a snake
That
around
was
her
my
neck.
very next question.
Right?
Yeah.
Avril came out wearing baggy pants, looking like a skater girl.
Yeah.
And it just was the right thing.
So talk about some of the other artists that you were with.
Korn, 2 albums with Korn, Shakira, Britney Spears, Christina Aguilera, Ricky Martin, Enrique Iglesias, Liz Fair, David Bowie. Did a remix with David Bowie.
Yeah.
Bibi Rexha, Dua Lipa.
Yeah. But that was
Jason
later.
Mraz.
That was when you went
Yeah.
solo, isn't it?
Jason Mraz, back with the Matrix.
Yep.
Yeah, it's been a crazy time.
I totally forgot we wrote a song, didn't we?
Let's get into
Yes.
this
For this
amazing
show.
song. What is the title of this song?
More than we are.
For-
Why did we write it? It's something
okay,
I
so
can't
Paul
remember
is
why.
a director,
Yeah,
friend of yours and mine,
yeah.
and he approached you about writing a song for his movie.
And it didn't happen.
And for whatever reason, it didn't make the cut, as
Right.
many things don't. And I always loved the song.
Yeah,
And-
I love that song.
And then this show came around, thing up.
You and I and Charlie wrote
Yeah.
the song, Charlie Midnight.
Charlie Midnight.
In the lab together.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I
Not
think,
really.
No, you and I wrote all the melodies, and then
We were in the
Charlie-
lab together.
Yeah, Charlie and I went off and finished the lyrics.
Yeah.
And then I came back and I'm like, this is so hard to sing all these melodies, but I love them.
Yeah.
And I said, so I'm just going to try and sing it, and I might have to like pull some crazy faces while I'm doing it. and I sung it as best I could, thinking that someone else was going to sing it. And so it was really sweet that
It
you
is
loved the song, you liked the way I sung it.
amazing.
But it's quite
Yeah.
different the way I'm singing to how I would usually sing.
I freaking
You
love
know,
that
and
song.
I loved all the auto tune on it. I was like, keep the auto tune on it.
Yeah.
It sounds great. It sounds kind of like that Imogen Heap.
I always loved, yes,
you
I
know,
always
that
loved
kind
the
of
song.
thing.
I thought it was
Yeah.
fantastic.
Yeah, I love
So-
it. I like the meaning of it. You know, we can be more than we are. Like,
Yeah.
let's raise it up. Let's take a level up.
Yeah.
You know,
Is
all that stuff that I'm capable of, I can be a better version of myself. Like, we can be more than we are. That's what it's about for me. Chasing the light as we circle the sun again. We've been on this planet. We've got to be better humans and just love each other. It's going to be great. Who knows? Maybe we'll see it one day when we're big.
Right?
That would be so cool.
Who we could be more than we are. Chasing my legs till we circle the sun again. Circle the sun, and if we go out too far, we keep on going till we get home again.
hope you have enjoyed that episode of Love, Miles and Music. And now to the mailbag for your questions. So, Isaac Starr wants to know when I'm coming to Canada. Enrique Negra wants to know when I'm coming to Barcelona, Spain. People want to know when I'm coming to Australia or Austria or any other country than the USA. And just to let you know that we are doing all we can to try and, play in all territories. The thing is, it's not always possible. It's logistics, and I did want to reach out and explain to you that sometimes it's impossible. Let's just give you an example. Australia. If I went to Australia to do one show at one little club, I'd have to do maybe 3 or 4 nights at least. And if not, really, I would need 3 or 4 venues to route a little mini tour around in order to make it worthwhile. Flights, hotels, manager costs, agent costs. You know what I mean? It's like it mounts up into the thousands. It just has to make sense. So sometimes we can't make it work. We try to talk to venues all over the country, and sometimes we just have to pass and say, maybe another time. Slowly but surely, we do add new venues to the calendar every year in new different places, and once we grab a new venue, we usually come back every year to pack out the clubs. So that's the other thing. A lot of these festivals book packages, which basically means multiple artists on one stage at the same time in order to save costs. I'm not a big fan of doing that. I like to stick to my brand, and I don't want to let my people down by playing like 3 of my songs, and I like to do a whole show. So sometimes I have to stick to my guns and say, no, I'm not going to do that. Once in a while I do, in the appropriate situation, but mostly I like to stick to my thing, which is why I might not have 100 dates a year instead of what I do have. Anyway, I hope that explains it. Just bear in mind, we are working on coming to your town or your country, and maybe we'll make that happen soon. All right, guys, see you next time.